Hello, my loves. Last project of your eighth grade school year for language arts, that is. I am so excited to introduce you to this final project. I have been working on it, believe it or not, since the fall, coming up with lots of different ideas, doing tons of research, coming up with something that I feel like might be really meaningful for you. And I have consulted other teachers about getting you to use some of those skills from their classes in here in language arts. I know, you don't all love language arts, and that's okay. I don't expect you to. But what I do want you to know is that this is an opportunity with this project, for you to pull in lots of your other skills. If you love math, you can use that here. If you love science, you can use that here. Social studies, use it here. You like psychology, learning how people think, you can use that here. Of course, of course, of course. There's tons of language arts skills. But I wanted you to have an opportunity to do some creating of your own. So, whatever you are drawn to and you like doing, I would like you to find a way to incorporate that here in what we are doing for our final project. So, without any further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to what we are working on. Okay, this is, I might just call it our independence project, but right now, let's start at the beginning. We, the people, declare our independence. So, you don't like the world we live in. A lot of people are talking about that right now. You don't have enough freedoms, school is boring, you feel like grown-ups' rules are dumb, and so on. You just don't like the world we live in, especially you being a teenager. Well, now is your chance to declare your independence from our current world. Just like the United States declared independence from England, you are going to declare your independence by creating your own new world. So I'm going to let that rattle around in your brain for a second. You get to make whatever world you want to live in. Okay, so the question we want to answer is, what do I need to do to create a successful new world which solves some of the problems in our current world? So this world, yes, it can be based in fantasy, it can be based in fiction. That's where some of the language arts part comes in. But there are, just like with fiction stories, there are elements of truth and reality that are a component of that. So we need to look at, even if I'm creating this fictional new world, what are some things in our current world that I can fix in this fantasy world of mine, this new world of mine? You and a committee, if you choose to have one. I'm going to pause for a second because I know there's going to be lots of questions. Do I get to pick my group? Do I get to pick this committee? Can I work on my own? Blah, blah, blah. I know you have those questions. Just hold tight, okay? I did say if you choose to have one. So that should imply that if you choose not to have one, that's fine. But I don't want you to decide that yet. I want you just to listen, and then you can decide, am I going to have a committee or am I going to work by myself? If I do choose a committee, who am I going to choose to work with? So hold those questions, put them to the side for a minute, keep listening, and then you can make those decisions later. Okay, so stay with me. So you and a committee, if you choose to have one, get to design your own world, your own rules, your own way of doing things, which is exactly like what the communities did in The Giver. And that's what they do in any new establishment. That's what the United States of America was founded on, is here's our world, this is what we want to do, this is how we're going to do things. And anytime you start something new, even if it's a new community, like Jackson, that's what they had to do. This is what we want to do. And so that's what you're going to be asked to do. Now, in The Giver, they chose to adopt sameness as their way of living. So that was kind of like that, any decisions they made, it was based around this idea of sameness, being the same. Everybody was the same. Everybody was equal. Now you get to choose kind of an idea that you want to follow for this world that you want to live in. You could choose a way of living like sameness, or you can come up with your own idea, or you can just have a whole bunch of things that you want to focus on. It doesn't have to just be one word, okay? You do want to start thinking about perhaps a motto, and that motto could go along with, the beliefs or the values of that new world. I'm going to pause for a second, give you a chance to think about this. My hope is that you're starting to come up with some ideas and thinking about, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had a world where fill in the blank. Okay, let's keep going. If you do choose to have a committee, you and your committee of 4 total people, so that means you and 3 others, Could it be you and somebody else, so it's just a committee of two? Sure. Could it be where it's you and two other people, so it's a committee of three? Sure. Don't ask me if you can have five. The answer is no. Don't ask me if you can have six. The answer is no. Again, if you want to work on your own, we can talk through that. Okay, I'll walk you through that here in a little bit. So you and your committee of 4 total people have a common goal. Here is your goal with this whole project. You'll need to explain your new world and why it's beneficial, including how it solves problems in our world today. You want to think about what kinds of people you want to appeal to and who would make the best colonists in your new world. Maybe not everybody would fit in your new world. Maybe you only want certain kinds of people in that world. Maybe you want a world where it's only athletes, and these athletes, are the best of the best. I don't know. It's your world. You can create it. Have it be whatever you want it to be. But you do need to think about, who are you trying to appeal to? Your audience always matters, and you should know this by the time you get to this project. The end of your 8th grade year with me, you should know your audience matters. Okay? For example, colonists moving to the New World to get away from England, they appealed to others who were fed up with life in England and the way that things were being run. Of course, they were not going to appeal to people who were happy with how the king was running things. Why would they? Those people wouldn't listen to them. So they wanted to take the people who were also fed up with them and kind of poach them and take them into this new world to create the United States. Okay, so start thinking about, who would you want to appeal to? Okay, you will have 3 parts to this Declaration of Independence project. The first part, you will actually write your Declaration of Independence. Now, this is where you say, we the people of whatever the name of your new world is, you're declaring independence from this current world. And that's where you have to really put in some thinking. What's our world going to look like? What are we value in this world? What are our laws? What are our rules? What will families look like? What will culture look like? What will our communities look like? What will everything be in our communities? There's a lot that needs to be thought of. In addition, in that part, you're also going to be focused on trying to think about, what is it that you don't like about our current world? And how are you going to fix that then in this new world? Okay, so that's the first part. That's going to take us about 2 weeks or so. Next, if you are into creating things, if you ever liked building Legos, or you are ever interested in a STEM type program, or if you like art, part 2 is really up your alley. You are going to actually literally create a visual replica of your new world. So you've got this new world, you need to actually have a visual of it. That's what people do when they, like architects, for instance, if they are going to, here's a new building that we want to design. They make like a scale model of that building. Well, you are going to make this scale model or this visual replica of your new world. Now, don't panic. I'm not asking you to go out and spend millions of dollars on buying the materials for that. I want you to see if you can use as many resources that you have already around the house, recycled materials, things in nature, to be able to make this visual replica of this world that you have created. It can be as futuristic as you want it to be. It can be as far out there as you want it to be. However you want to do it is fine. You just need to know you are going to have to create a replica of this new world that you've made. Last but not least, the third part. You will create a presentation where you have to explain to others about your new world, and your audience will vote for which world they would want to live in. So you have developed this new world, you've made a replica of what this new world looks like, and then you now need to reveal this new world to other people. When other people hear about your new world and they kind of know what you value and what things are going to be like there, then they can decide, do they want to live there or would they not want to live there? And at the end of that, you'll be able to know if you created a successful world or if you didn't. Now, what's kind of cool is, even at the end of this project, those ideas that you came up with might be fiction, okay? Or they might not actually be able to happen today. But maybe down the road, as you get older, the ideas that you came up with, those are the types of things that you could try to get our world to actually be. And you could actually make some serious change in the world with these ideas that perhaps you come up with this project. You can change the world. It starts with ideas, right? That's what happened when the colonists left England. They had this idea, and now look at where we are all these years later. That kind of thing could happen to you too. And perhaps with this type of a project, that's what you can do and what you can start thinking about to actually then put into action in our real world. Just my thoughts. All right, I'm going to pause for a second. Those are the 3 things that you're going to do with this project: declaration, visual replica, presentation. It's a lot. I know. I know. But aren't all of our projects a lot? I mean, there's a lot that when you want to do something great, there is a lot involved in it. So we're going to break it down just slowly. And we're going to do it in small pieces, of course. What I have for you here is I've linked in the calendar of what we'll be doing each day. Please know it could change. It really could. But just so you kind of know, you've got 2 weeks to complete the independence part, 2 weeks to complete the visual replica part, and then with your presentation you have a week, and within that week you will be doing a couple things to prepare for that presentation, and then you're actually presenting. So you've got lots and lots and lots of time, and you can go ahead and look at that calendar for when you are ready and you want to see kind of the big picture, and then also see what you're doing every single day. In addition, there is a guide that I have made for you. This guide is one that you're going to want to look at frequently with this project, because there's so much to it and there's so many different links and so many different resources. I figured if you go to this guide and the calendar, you will have a link to everything that you could possibly need for this project. So if it were me, I would make sure that you keep the calendar handy and the guide handy every single day, so you can get to all of the resources that you'll need for this project that will take us through the end of the year. Okay? I hope you're starting to get excited. I've been excited for a while, and I hope that you're getting excited too. So if you feel like you are ready to start, then don't worry about getting your group yet. Don't do that yet. Start with opening the brainstorming document, and then you can start looking at your group and seeing if you want to work with a committee, and if you do, who you want to work with. I would choose very, very, very wisely, because most of these grades are going to be individual, but some of them are group grades. So you do want to make sure that you think about that with who you're choosing in your group. Okay? If you do have lots of questions, I'm sure that you do, before you email me, in this guide, there is a frequently asked questions section. Look at that. See if that answers your questions. If it does not, please email me. You know that. I will answer you. Email me or Guardian chat me. You want to have a Google Meet, we can do that. But no matter what, make sure that you look at those frequently asked questions, and then I will make sure that I answer your question if that did not do it for you. Okay? I hope you're excited. Use those creative juices. Let's create a world that you really, really love, and one that is maybe different than this world. Okay? We'll talk soon. See ya.